because he was responsible for transporting them physically by jeep from one place to another, but also that he saw a number of alien bodies in very large tanks, that the tanks had a silver backing to them, that they had a silver strips across the middle and the bottom of the tank. They were filled with a blue liquid. He said that he personally saw 5 different tanks that had these alien bodies in them, the classic little gray bodies, the 3.5 to 4 feet tall, but that they also had 4 humanoid aliens that were had blondish and reddish hair. Very little was unusual about them that would demarcate them from actual humans, but he was told that these were actual alien bodies, supposedly, and this was his speculation now, but he said that they were supposedly from the Pleiades.
There are many underground alien facilities, and they're all over the place. There's also many underground U.S. facilities. In 1960, it became apparent to the military that if they were going to have any significant covert operations, they were going to have to be underground. The reason was people are extremely observant. They notice everything that's going on. And if there was going to be huge transportation of materials, men, equipment, all kinds of stuff, that it was going to be have to be underground. There was a major meeting with all the major contractors, the big contractors like Morrison Knudsen and those type of people. And the meeting included the highly specialized area of underground operations, as far as drilling down there, how you move that kind of dirt. And they started then, basically in 1960, building all these underground facilities. Right now, they're just all over the United States. It's just incredible how many there are. There's a network of tunnels that connects Edwards Air Force Base with the Tehachapi Base, with Tonopah Test Range, Groom Lake, George Air Force Base, California City, China Lake. It's a tremendous network. I have varied and many people who have told me that they exist, that they have been down there. I have a friend that is a hydraulic engineer on one of the tunnel boring machines. It's 28 feet in diameter. He works at the Nevada test site where the tunnels go down almost 3,000 feet.
In addition to this, I have had a number of ex-military persons, engineers who've worked in the aerospace industry, for the aerospace companies out in the Antelope Valley, such as Lockheed, Northrop, Rockwell, who have related to me their knowledge of underground facilities. Not in all cases have they revealed what they knew about alien life forms or alien technology, but they said that these underground facilities exist without a doubt. Okay, that many aerospace companies have these facilities, that most of our Air Force bases, our naval bases, have these type of facilities underground, and that ultra-secret work goes on in secure underground facilities. Now, our difficulty has been in trying to come up with the evidence that these facilities are connected with the UFO phenomena. So we have had to approach this not only from the viewpoint of listening to testimony, but keeping some of these facilities under surveillance so that we can take cameras up there or any means that we can to record phenomena that seem to be emanating from or associated with these facilities. And that has been done. And people have reported seeing classic UFO phenomena around these facilities.
There are 4 aerospace covert facilities. This is what we call the aerospace connection in the Antelope Valley and also the San Joaquin Valley. Rockwell in the San Joaquin, Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas, and Northrop in the Antelope Valleys. And these operations are extremely suspicious. They have a surface cover activity. They call themselves RCS testing sites. That stands for radar cross-section. And apparently their presumed purpose is to test various aeroform designs atop pylons with radar cross-section. And the disturbing part is that we have found out with incontrovertible proof that there are extensive underground facilities. And for example, Northrop we have documented to have 42 levels underground. Now if this is radar cross-section testing, which is above ground, why do they need 42 levels underground? Also, at the Lockheed facility out in Helendale, we had an investigative reporter who saw a blueprint of the building plans for that facility that he wasn't supposed to see. It showed that they had an extensive underground facility 300 feet down. And when this reporter interviewed the person who was in charge of that facility, they had a nice, pleasant interview until at the end he told the director that he was aware of this extensive underground facility. And what could he tell him about that? And immediately the man's eyes grew wide and he said, "This interview is terminated." So it's very suspicious. And then of course we have other reports of people in the area who say that they have seen alien craft emanating from these facilities and terminating at these facilities, and other kinds of blue beams, strange lights in the sky, surveillance orbs size of basketballs, medicine balls that survey the area and move in ways that we don't possess that kind of technology. In terms of the Northrop facility, which is also known as the Anthill, the construction, the underground facility was greatly enlarged in the early 80s. And what took place there was an enlargement, I understand, from 13 levels underground to 42 levels underground. And we have reports from construction workers who actually worked on the site, cement truck drivers, and at one point, Michael, cement trucks suddenly appeared on the scene 5 miles long, pouring concrete continuously 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for weeks. And we figure at 3 yards of concrete, 9 yards of concrete per truck, close to 1 million yards of concrete must have been poured underground. Also, we understand from the construction workers that 3 silos were constructed there, 3 underground silos, and we were bringing out the fact that saucers have been seen to just come screaming out of the facility as if they had had some travel distance underground. And also craft would, like helicopters, would come into the facility and just disappear into the ground. So we knew from construction reports and from visual reports outside the facility that something very suspicious in the way of silos was going on. Norio and I put together the first investigative team to actually fly over these facilities and investigate them from the air with video cameras, still camera shots. It was very exciting. And on our first flyover of the Northrop facility, we spent about an hour in the air on that trip. It was historic. You can imagine that my heart practically jumped out of my mouth when we're flying over, and the pilot, unsolicited, says to me, "By the way, there are 3 silos down there." Now, I had learned from my inside contacts that 3 silos had been constructed there. And I was looking for those silos the minute we appeared over the facility. I was intensely looking for 3 silos, didn't see any, and suddenly the pilot says to me, "What I just told you." I was shocked. I tried to contain my excitement, and I pretended to be rather casual about it, and I said, "I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, but did you say silos down there?" And he says, "Oh yes." He says, "You see those white diamonds?" And sure enough, there were 3 white diamonds. Now this pilot, you must understand, we rented the plane in the Antelope Valley, so he flies that area continuously. He has students. He's a pilot instructor. So he's flying over there all the time. He told me that on numerous occasions when he's flown over these facilities, those white diamonds, the white covering, will be gone to reveal a deep, dark hole